Well, my name is Marielle. I am from Venezuela. I'm a teaching artist based in Lima, Peru. I am a singer and dancer, and I currently work teaching dance classes and directing musicals at a performing arts academy called Spotlight. I had the privilege of participating in ITAC 7, where I met this amazing group of young women teaching artists. And I also met Pablo and some of you who are in this meeting. And today, ITAC has given us the incredible opportunity to take part in an important space like this. So, the spirit of our think tank today, which is again called Becoming a Teaching Artist, a global conversation, is rooted in fostering more teaching artists and empowering young artists. Our goal is to understand how to define the role of a teaching artist, explore what this field looks like globally, and examine its nuances within our own local contexts, communities, and regions. Through this webinar, we aim to engage in a collaborative exercise, asking you to share your perspectives, experiences, and the cultural insights on what is it like to be a teaching artist in your context and the own mother language. And we'll first begin by introducing the Young ITAC members, which is Mariana, Zoe, and Puchao, who will share their journeys, experiences, challenges, and their interpretations of what it means to be a teaching artist for them. And next, we will dive deeper into the session's purpose through a collaborative and a reflective exercise. And finally, we'll close the session with actionable ideas to bring these practices to life, ensuring they don't remain as just a conversation, but in an online forum, but that we take them into the real world. So without further ado, I'm going to hand it over to Mariana, who's going to start. Oops, so sorry. So this was the slide that was supposed to be shown before. And I forgot to mention Danica, who's also part of our Young ITAC members, who unfortunately is not able to be here today, but she was very helpful and was a part of the process of creating this meeting today. So now I believe it's happening. It's taking a while. There you go.
Perfect. Well, hello everyone. I'm so happy to be here with you this afternoon. Here in Brazil is like 6 p.m. So it's almost night, but it's day too because it's a spring. So can you hear me? It's okay? Okay. Before I answer this question, I will talk a little bit about this first question, that is, how did my journey in teaching artistry begin and evolve? I'd like to introduce myself a little bit, and I'm just checking the chat. Okay. My name is Mariana Rosa. I'm Brazilian and I live in Porto Alegre in south of Brazil. I'm an actress, teaching artist, and I work in theater, education, and communication. I hold a degree in theater and a postgraduate degree in theater too, both in our Federal University of Rio Grande do Sul. Currently, I'm part of the ITAC staff and team where I serve as social media manager, and I have the joy of taking part of this incredible youth ITAC group, which originated at ITAC 7 that took place in New Zealand this year, this September. I also collaborate with Plateau Cultural, a Brazilian company that promotes and develops immersive educational experience for kids. There, I'm part of the artistic pedagogical team and oversee communication coordination. I believe my journey with arts education with teaching artistry began long before I even realized it. I am the daughter of a teacher. So education has always been a part of my life. My mother, now retired, was a physical education teacher for many years, working in public schools here in Porto Alegre. So I grew up in this environment that gave me this idea about education, and some way I would follow a path connect to education. Theater, however, came into my life a little later when I was 16, when I was preparing for the entrance exam at university at URGS, that we call the University of Rio Grande do Sul. I decided to study theater, and I clearly remembered my mother's request, like, it's fine if you want to study theater, but please choose the teaching way, because so you can also teach. Today, I understand her concern, as she knew how challenging is an artist career could be. During my undergraduate studies, I had the opportunity to be part of transformative experience. I worked as an intern and teacher scholarship holder at a public school in Porto Alegre for 3 years, where I learned a lot and solidified my passion for teaching through art, through theater in my context. And since then, I've been building my professional journey, work with theater groups and projects that integrate creativity, education, and social transformation. Currently with my theater group here in Porto Alegre that called Máscara em Cena. I teach mask acting courses open to both actors and non-actors. Our work focuses on exploring masks as a powerful acting tool in public spaces and as a rich and versatile artistic language for contemporary theater. Additionally, I spent several years as a teaching artist in plateau-cultural projects such as School of the Impossible, Reader's Factor, working directly with children and kids on themes such climate change, global warming, literacy through imagination, etc. Over time, I took on a more strategic role assisting in artistic pedagogical direction. Today, I have the joy of training and preparing new teaching artists to join in these projects, continuing my research as a theater teacher. It's a profoundly rewarding to contribute to this development of educators and to expand the impact of arts education and teaching artists and teaching artistry, helping to transform lives and societies and ideas and through the art. So, sorry, it's a lot, but for me, I saw my journey, and I'm still in movement. So it's not, thanks God, it's not finishing. It's a journey in movement, and I have this opportunity to have every year or every moment I reconnect with my journey and do the exercise and think about, probably you have journeys totally different, and I'm super curious to learn about this. And I think it's the more beautiful thing about our field and our practical. So yeah, I spoke too much, so you will pass the word now. And in Portuguese we call vou passar a palavra. So I don't know how I can say this in English or in your own language, so I can pass the word for Puchao or Zoe to speak a little bit.
Yeah, I can speak. I'm Zoe Peacock Jones. I'm based in New York and it's winter and 4 p.m. here, which means the sun is actively setting, which is pretty sad. It's almost dark outside. Um, I am an actor and designer and clown and kind of coming into my teaching artist journey in New York. I graduated from the New School, which is a university in the city 2 years ago, and now I'm back teaching at the New School with my amazing intergenerational co-mentor who happens to be in this meeting, Jean Taylor, if you want to give a little wave. Jean and I, yes, little wave. Jean and I have been working together since my freshman year in college, and we started this intergenerational co-mentorship project, which is basically just trying to restructure how mentorship works and creating a new way to interact that involves no hierarchy. So we exist and interact as equals, no matter how long either of us have been on the planet. And pretty much everything that I know about teaching artistry and like that field and how I want to go into it is from Jean. So I've learned all of that from her and like how I see my career path kind of unfolding in front of me is because of what I learned from Jean. So that's been like a really invaluable experience for me as a teaching artist is having this co-mentor and having someone to kind of show me what is happening and like what is next and just talk about things with and but also know that I can share my perspectives and be listened to and be respected. Which kind of I'll kind of answer the second question, which is what challenges I've identified. And this has happened both ways, so to me and to Jean, but just because of in certain situations, because of our different ages not being seen as uh respected, I guess. I think there's been situations where I've maybe been seen as more of an assistant, or situations where Jean has been seen as that. And so it's really important to me in our intergenerational work to try to avoid these things happening because I think the heart of what we want to do is that everyone should be respected in this field, no matter how old they are or how long they have been doing this for. So that is something that we work on together a lot and something that I'm really passionate about. And it hasn't been like a huge barrier or anything. But it's just that is what I've noticed so far coming into this field from in some situations. So yeah, that's me. I'll pass it to Puchao.
你好, Kayla, and hello, everyone. And I'm Puchao Yang from Beijing, China. Now I'm based in New Zealand. I'm currently a fourth year PhD student in dance studies at the University of Auckland. So most of you I met before in New Zealand. My research focuses on how at this stage focusing on how inclusive arts education has developed, been practiced, and evolved in mainland China. Over the past 2 years, I've had the opportunity to work as a teaching and research assistant at the University of Auckland, and while also engaging with communities in both China and New Zealand, working with people of different ages and abilities. So I would like to share the question related the third one and the fourth one. And first, I think my journey into teaching artistry began in a very simple way, but it has been full of surprises for me. Last year, during an interview with an artist from a group called Argyle Dance Production Group, which is based in China, Guangzhou, he mentioned about the term teaching artist. That was the very first time I heard about this name and this term. But fast forward to this year, during a casual meeting with my supervisor, at that moment he said, "Oh, you should try attending the ITAC conference. It's a great opportunity to share your research, to meet new people from all over the world, and engage with the global community." And I think that suggestion to motivate and to bring my curiosity and driven me in this magic field. Before the ITAC 7 conference officially started, when I received an email from Madeline, reach out asking if I wanted to join the Young ITAC team, I feel like I was very lucky enough to say, yes, I'm in. So now I find myself working alongside incredible people from around the world, sharing this deeply meaningful experience and moment together. And to me, I feel like teaching artists embodies two complementary forces. One is an inclusive pooling power that welcomes and embraces and encourages newcomers like me. And from the other side, teaching artists also as a power for me to keep pushing myself forward, engage in more conversation, and create meaningful shared moments with others. And through the teaching artistry, I also learn or have more awareness to see and respect the richness of diversity and how different individuals advocate for and celebrate their unique identities. It acts like a kaleidoscope, reflecting the dynamic interplay between people, cultures, and languages. So here, just a thought came up. I just introduce one symbolized Chinese moves in the Chinese classical dance, means orchid hand. If you would like, you can join me to do this hand gesture. It's very symbolized. It's like related to the nature. It's like a flower, and you can, if you want, you can just flip your fingers and make it more dynamic and floating. Make your own, add your own feelings through this beautiful flower to yourself. And I just want to say that it's not the point that how we do this movement such precisely or beautifully, but its true matters is planting this idea of our own unique flower in each of us heart. Is all about our interpretation and our expression and our feeling at this moment. So this to me captures the essential of what teaching artistry is all about, the creation of space where individually and connection can coexist through a very small thing or a move or a sentence and even just a word. And so being a teaching artist to me, because I think this identity is quite new for me, but it means something profound. Here I would like to borrow a perspective from my supervisor, Nicholas Rowe, who once discussed how the current dynamics of power and hierarchy in arts education are being challenged. He mentioned that now in the arts education, we always have the comparison and hierarchical dynamic, which is kind of like the position, who is better, who is not that better than others. It's always comparison. But being a teaching artist is kind of like we can twist that position, is more like embrace and dialogue and meeting people from different world, is more inclusive and more equal conversation. So that's my thought and my perspective around this, around this teaching artistry and being a teaching artist. So just echoing with Mariana and Zoe, this is our story, how we enter this field, the challenges we encountered, and how we make sense of everything unfolded around us. So we're Young ITAC. We link to the last ITAC conference, Art as a Catalyst for Change, and wanted to have this session to further develop these ideas of how to make new teaching artists advocate for future teaching artists in our circle, friends, and work environment. In this session, we aim to identify what it means to be a teaching artist across different languages, regions, and cultures. Currently, the concept of teaching artistry is often discussed mainly in English, or is more around like English interpretation or understanding. But today we want to bridge that gap by creating multilingual content that represent diverse voices. So now we would like to invite all of you to join us, to feel free to share your own thoughts about what it is like to be a teaching artist. So we already move our body, then we can motivate our brain and join our group thinking session. So I will pass to Mariana again, and which she can introduce a very interesting tool of the Miro board.
Sure. Thank you, Puchao. And please help me to explain if I am not, I can't miss something. The link of, I don't know if you all already heard about Miro board. It's like a tool, it's like a board, and you can share things there. It's very useful actually. And you can put images, videos, everything. It's like to brainstorm, to create and everything. So we want to invite you. I will copy the link again here in our chat. Here. And if you can share your emails with us in chat, I can put you in our Miro board, and we can all be there, like sharing and answer these questions together. So, and if everyone is not able to do that, don't worry, you can answer these questions here in the chat, and we put there for you. So yeah, perfect. I will do that. Thank you, everyone. A little, 1 minute or two. I will try to be fast, but let's see. So if you click in this link of Miro board that we shared, we'll open a page, and you need to do a login, very simple, with your Gmail, email, or the email that you used to. So let's see if, please let me know if anybody needs help or something, please feel free to ask. Okay. It's okay. It's working for you guys.
I think I see people like moving on the Miro board, so
Yeah.
maybe it is working.
Okay. Okay. So the idea, if you, it's a very simple tool, but I like to work with this because you can like zoom and zoom out and zoom in, and you can work with different perspectives and ideas. So, okay, now we invite you to, you can see this 3 different circles, like a purple, blue, and pink, red, pink. And we invite you to answer these questions in these post-its or in another way that you prefer. Like you can choose other sick note or a box of text, and feel free. And we will give you maybe 3 minutes to answer these questions. You can answer in your own language if you want, and will be very cool. And yeah, so 3 minutes to answer these questions is enough. I will put Anna in our Miro board. Hi, Anna.
I think Susan is having a little problem with the Miro board. Susan, do you need us to send you again the invitation? Yeah. Tell us.
I don't know really. I'm using the Miro board with another class that I'm in, and it just brought that Miro board up. It didn't bring yours up. So I don't know.
I think maybe that you're logged in. If you go back in the Zoom chat and try clicking our link again, it might open it this time.
Okay, I'll try again.
Let's try that.
Okay, thank you.
Mhm.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, it says no access to board. Ask the board owner to grant you permission.
Okay, maybe Mariana, you can add her again. She sent her email in the chat.
Sure, I will. And Jean, if you can.
Yes, it's okay. I had the same thing. I used my email, and then I was sent a code, and I put the code in, and then it said I needed access and to request access.
Oh, do I have to go to my Gmail?
No, I don't know. We probably don't have the same issue, Susan.
No, I think you do. If you put your email in the chat, Jean, then Mariana was putting them in a list to give everyone access.
Okay.
Just checking the Susan email here. Okay, Susan. 1 second.
If not, I think you could also share your answers maybe through the chat, and we can include them in the one of the notes.
Sure.
Yeah, I can see the board, but I'm not sure how to. I see things moving around, but I'm not seeing where I'm supposed to kind of click onto something and move me around. Does that make sense?
Yes,
Here,
I'm going to
move. I'm a dancer.
Since I'm sharing my screen right now, I'm going to quickly show you how you can do it. So you go to the left one, there's like a note figure. It's the second one, or well, the third one after the clicking thingy. So you put on it, you click on it, and then you can pick whatever color that you want. and then you're gonna paste it on, let's say, this first question, which is the question of who inspired you to do what you do today, and then you will start chatting, sorry, texting or putting your answer, and then you can repeat the same for the other two questions. And the way you're gonna go like closer to it, it's just doing this with your fingers in the laptop or with the mouse to like zoom in and then zoom out. And then also like moving to the sides so you can go to the following one. I don't know if that helps whatsoever. I think she's frozen.
Who, me? No, I'm not frozen. I'm,
No?
I'm thinking, which is sometimes frozen.
Okay.
Okay, so I see you guys doing it. I was able to zoom in and out. That's great. I see myself as an editor. And then did you say something about a sticky note?
Yes. On the left bar, you're gonna see like there are a lot of different tiny figures and drawings. So just click on the one that says note. Right now mine is in Spanish, but it should be that this little one that I am showing in the board. I don't know if you can see it.
Okay,
On the
no,
left.
it says, does it say create with AI?
No.
No. All right, well.
You can
Maybe,
also send it. Yeah.
guys, can we put maybe we can put the questions in the chat and let everyone share their thoughts there, and we can then add it to the board. I'm actually putting right now the questions in the chat. Just a second.
I'm gonna show them on the screen as well.
Cool.
I've never been terribly successful on these boards. I don't know if it's because I work on an iPad or
no, I think it can be a little tricky. I totally love it. I use it all the time, but it can be sometimes tricky.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Who inspired me to do?
So why don't we share in the chat, or if anyone feels inspired to share out loud, that's probably okay too.
Yeah. Super.
Hi, this is Jean speaking. I work at Lincoln Center Education in New York City, and something that anybody who actually I've spoken to about teaching artistry knows that when I started teaching as a teaching artist there a long time ago, I've been there for 30 years or so, we had a philosopher in residence named Dr. Maxine Green. And being at an organization that had a philosopher in residence around teaching artistry gave it such a meaning and resonance, foundation, and something to aspire to. So it's made me believe in that the why of your work is what keeps you going and creates a sense of rigor. So I would say I'm deeply inspired by Dr. Maxine Green.
Thank you for sharing.
We have a very interesting question in the chat.
Yes.
Which is, can you define teaching artistry? I never know how to translate it. So who wants to?
Yeah. Teresa, you live where you live? Where are you from?
I live in Portugal. I don't know how to translate it to Portuguese. I see,
Portuguese.
Mariana, you translated to Portuguese like arte educador, but I don't know if it is this. I'm not so sure.
Yeah, I totally understand you. I am with you. Teaching artistry in Portuguese, for me and my field, in my little field, we called arte educação. or professor artista. Ensino das práticas artísticas. So I really don't know how it's impossible to choose one version in Portuguese, I guess. So I don't know there in Portugal how you say teaching artistry, but here in Brazil we called, it's more common, usual like arte educador.
Yeah, I suppose it has also to be with identity, professional identity. For instance, in France, French art teachers, they never recognize themselves as educators. They say they are artists. And in Portugal, many art teachers, they say they are more artists than teachers. If they teach artists, for example, they don't recognize themselves as teachers because they teach artists. But if they work in community areas, I suppose they could identify themselves as educators or facilitators or mediators. It's tricky to translate, really tricky, because in a way it seems like a definition from the last century. I'm sorry. Just sometimes I think it's a bit outdated.
No, perfect. Your question is perfect. And I think it's about all this think tank and the big work in ITAC and this big network is about these questions and how we can, I don't know, just sharing thoughts, but and how we can invite more people to join to this field, because it's different, depends of city, country, culture, societies, and it's more about maybe how we can expand than how we can like close in a one meeting. Like I think it's not about to close the meeting, it's about to expand the possibilities of teaching artistry and be a teaching artist, I guess. So it's very nice to exchange with you, because I think especially because our language is a little
so you understand the translation problems.
Yeah, totally.
Thank you, Mariana. Thank you.
Thank you, Teresa. Obrigada.
Nada.
Can I just verbalize my answers? Is that okay?
Yeah.
I was inspired many, many years ago by a man, Dr. George Major, who went to Harvard because he was doing work in the inner city schools in the South, trying to desegregate classrooms. And his book is called Liberating Education. And I knew George as a classical ballet dancer. He would bring me to these workshops that he did at McGill University and University of Montreal and Quebec. And he would first say to me, I don't want to see anything that looks like ballet. And it was very intimidating at first because, for 20 plus years, that's really all I did. I put that aside for many years. I ran a ballet school. I taught at a college. And then I ended up in education. And I struggled. Lesson plans, standards, plié, tendu, dégagé. What do you need to know here? And I knew that the kids in middle school had no connection with ballet other than thinking they wanted to be a ballet dancer in a lifetime, perhaps not now. So I had to break down movement. And then COVID struck, and I ended up in dance education laboratory and doing the brain dance with Anne Green Gilbert, and now at Jacob's Pillow doing Curriculum Motion Institute. And I've changed completely. Some days I don't recognize myself, and I'm really thrilled about that. I'm in the schools still. I'm at a crossroads. I find that the curriculum is suffocating, although I'm the only one in the elementary schools, so they do grant me a lot of latitude, and they call me a tour de force. But I'm very, I feel as if the road, instead of widening, is narrowing because of test scores and evaluations and assessments. And I realize that the work that we're all doing has so much power and so much ability and juiciness to change perspectives. And I think I have to leave my cushy little job. And I guess I don't know where I'm going. I live in a very small upstate community of 60,000 that would prefer me to just do what I do. They've known me almost my entire life, even though my career took me elsewhere and I came back. They would just like me to be me. And I want to break the mold. I don't know where that takes me, and I don't even know why. I'm going to say, wait, why am I talking, and what did I just say? And does this make any sense? And thank you for all being there. Help.
Yeah, no, Tina, that was, well, first of all, that's really brave to share. I think that I understand. And well, I don't have a lot of experience teaching yet, but I am studying currently and working on getting more familiar with this field. And something I'm doing right now, it's a theater pedagogy, or pedagogy theater course. And they're giving me so many texts, and what I could notice from all of the texts that they has given me is that there is not a clear definition of what that is. There's not even a clear definition of what do we do. I mean, there are so many variations of the field that I think we're all on the same path of redefining who we are. We love art. I'm also a dancer. I also get what you're saying. All my life I've been yeah, this is exactly what you need to do and nothing else. But now I am an educator, and there is a different focus on teaching the dance, and it really changes lives. It really helps these kids feel more confident, feel better with themselves, feel more connected with their own body. And it's not something they teach you how to do. Somehow most of us, I believe, or I'm speaking for myself, figure it out on the way. So yeah, I also don't know if this makes any sense, but I think this is just the point of the meeting, which is just understanding what is this, how can we define it, and how can we further develop it and bring more people into this, and maybe prepare them from the very beginnings that this is what you do. Because I, for example, felt lost at some point on, does this even has a name? Do I know what I am doing? And it does. It exists. There's a network out there of people that feel the same way. So I think it's just valid to set it as a clear career path, just like being a dancer, being an actor, and being a singer, same way. Yeah, I hope that helps,
Yeah.
like answering something. Yeah,
Tina,
Jean.
something just to offer Tina this new horizon that you're seeing or feeling the need to break out. Is it something about teaching artistry that's most amazing to me is that when I began, we mostly worked in schools, K-12, some higher ed, and we worked in communities, community centers. But one thing that ITAC and then this whole network can also support you in is that teaching artists are bringing their artistry into the world in many different ways. So it isn't just schools, although education is happening in many places. So teaching artists are working in art and health, art and well-being. They're working in many, right, at ITAC are working in climate change. So they're bringing their artistry and they're teaching artistry and their chops that they've learned over all these years around that you have around good teaching and learning, but out in different ways and cross content, so that I think what you're feeling and seeking is actually that ITAC can support you in it, to feel outside the traditional, like teaching artistry. The only problem I see with it is that people think education like schools when you hear teaching artistry. And in fact, teaching artistry it's the art of teaching, and it can happen anywhere. So I think you found a community that can support you.
I think I did. And, with Jacob's Pillow, they ask the question, why, many times. It's very unsettling to answer why you dance 9 times and not just be very flippant and just kind of like, well, because I don't know anything else, or, it feels good. And to actually turn it around and answer it, well, why did I just say that? And what did that answer mean? Why? Really climbing a ladder. And I'm not going to use the word scaffolding because sometimes those new words, they get in the way. For me anyway. Climbing the ladder to a different landing, a different floor. Because like you said, Marielle, it's like, and did I pronounce that right? Yes?
Yes.
All of our journeys and all of our experiences, were like kaleidoscopes. And every time we have these light bulbs go off, it puts a different light and shadows on our stage. And that is our canvas. And you can't just put that down like, okay, your biography, what did you do? I don't know. I lived. And I paid attention. And I got excited. And I dared to share. Realizing that there were people out there that would just simply accept my perception of cool, rather than kind of think, oh, it was, and I really don't like this word. I don't like the word awesome. I really and truly don't. I think belongs on a sticker. But at any rate, to know that my interpretation can be different, but is as meaningful and can spur something else to bring us all to a new place, whether that's forward or a little bit to the side or.
I love what you're saying, Tina. And maybe I can add to that from what I've written already in the chat, which I find very difficult because I'm dyslexic. I have had the same experiences throughout my career. I've been teaching through drama, through educational drama for 52 years in 5 different countries. And I've had obstacles everywhere. And I've always tried to explain it. And I realized that in the end, explaining it cannot work because people have to experience it. And I think that's what you were saying, that you know how it feels. And it's very hard to explain how that feels to anybody else unless they experience it. So I've come to the conclusion that the only way I hate saying this as well as saying awesome, the only way I can get people on my side and understand how convinced I am of this is the only way to go is to persuade them somehow to join me and do it. And I now have quite a large following here in Argentina of teachers, at least of teachers, mainly because I ran this project at the Ministry of Education. And I said I won't tell you the end because it's too sad. But now I've heard the way you're all speaking, I'm sure you'll understand that I was actually thrown out in the end. I was fired by a new director who came in and didn't understand anything I was doing, and actually said she was director of the Department for Inclusion. And this is what I was trying to do because English had never been taught in the special schools before. And she said, it is impossible to have a British person teaching in the Ministry of Education in the Department of Inclusion. So I hope you can see the sadness and the irony of such a statement. And so the whole project just fell apart with one statement like that. But I still carry on. I will carry on until the moment I die.
Thank you, Suzanne.
I'm doing it in as many ways as I can. And I totally love your collective. And it fits in very well with another group that I'm in, which some of you may have heard about. It's called the Global Play Brigade. Does anybody know it? We believe that play has to become mainstream. I'll give you a link in the chat. And I've been with them for 4 years now since the pandemic started. And I love the way they work. And I think all of you will love them too. I'll send you the link and you can read how we are all activists, social activists for transformation through play.
Oh, that's great, Susan.
Thank you, Suzanne. Yeah, please share that link with us because that sounds like something we will be interested in reading for sure.
Yeah.
I quickly asked a question in the chat because I know we're supposed to finish right now, but I would really like to just like close the session. So if you are able to stay for, it doesn't have to be 10 extra minutes, it can be just 6 or 5. That would be amazing. If not, it's totally okay if you have to wrap up right now. So I wanted to finish by saying that I believe we're all on the same path of not knowing what not knowing an accurate definition for what the teaching artistry field looks like, or what does teaching artists even mean in our own regions and contexts. And that's exactly the reason why we're doing this, because we've identified this I don't want to say problematic, but we've identified that this is happening everywhere in the world. And I think it would be nice to do something about it, which is what I am going to quickly share right now. So as we've all shared and talked and wrote in the Miro board, and as I said at the beginning, we don't want this to die on a conversation. That's it. We want to make it come true in some ways. So with the Young ITAC members, we've talked about some potential outcomes for the future in terms of knowing how we can bring the teaching artistry further, or knowing how we can invite more people into the network, into the field, or making them understand what it is, or just telling them that they're not the only ones who do it, that there is actually a networking around the world that does the same, and that we are all struggling, if that's the word, to understand what is it that we do, or how is it even called. So we've talked briefly about these 3 potential outcomes that we believe are possible to develop. One of them is like developing a very straightforward multilingual manual to share directly with friends or contacts or interested people. Because as we were saying later, as Teresa mentioned, in Portuguese, it's called differently. In Spanish, it has many variations. In English, there might be also many variations. So I think it might be helpful and interesting to define what is it that we do in our different languages, and coming to terms of like creating this, as I said, manual of explaining what is it that a teaching artist does around the world. We also thought of the idea of tracking the advocacy impact, which is just measuring the effect of advocacy through referral information provided during registration. I believe this is something ITAC already does with their own platform, but maybe we can take it further by inviting more people, sending them the link to the platform, and whenever they register to it, they can say, I came because Tina told me, or I came because Susan told me, or I came because Marielle recommended or talked to me about this network, and I want to know more about what is it that you do, and how do I belong in this field. And another thing that we thought that could be interesting is just the same way we share whenever we have a theater play, or whenever we had a dance presentation, or whenever we're part of a music that we composed or something. These are very random examples. Another thing that could be interesting is sharing audiovisual material that helps people understand what is a teaching artistry field look like. This is a little more, I don't know, techie type of outcome, but I don't know, social media right now, it's like everywhere and everyone uses it, so maybe it can also help impact people looking to do the same thing, but they don't actually know about the field specifically. But we don't want to be the only ones saying, oh, this is what we should do. We really want to have your perspective, because you clearly have more experience than me. I'm gonna speak for myself in this field, so maybe you have more ideas on how to bring more people within this journey. So we can finish this session by asking this following questions that we don't need to specifically answer right now, but I think it would be nice that we all reflect on this so that we can later define more potential outcomes that can benefit from that could be beneficial to bring more people in the field, and to also help defining what a teaching artist looks like and what the teaching artistry field looks like. So the first question is, what are we going to do to get this information out in the world? Which is what I just explained 110 times. How do we advocate for bringing in new people? How do we measure the fact that we're bringing in more people? And this is a more of a personal Young ITAC members question, which is if you know a young teaching artist in your network who could benefit from support, and how might you help them in your journey? Because I think personally, I know a lot of people from my age who are really great potential educators because of the way they are, because of the way they express their love for the art that they do, but they don't really feel or identify themselves as a teacher, or they don't even see that as a possibility because they feel like they're too young to do that, or they are too, myself included, or they don't trust in their capacity to like share their knowledge out there. So I think it's important to know that when we are young, and this happens in every single field, we have the support from people who has been longer in this, in whatever field that is, and like making us feel that our voices matter by giving us an opportunity to share and expose ourselves out there. Because as Zoe said at the beginning, no matter the amount of experience that we have different perspectives that are valuable and that can bring something positive into the field. So yeah, we would like for this to become, hopefully, in a working group, if that's possible, that we can continue the conversation and actually define one outcome, at least one, that we can all work together collaboratively and make it true. And for that, we are going to, yes, Mariana already did that. She left an email, which is youthitech@gmail.com. Please email us if you're interested in continuing the conversation to discuss and define and make something out of this. And we'll be happy to continue it as well. And if not, we will still work on it. So yeah, I don't know, Pachao, Zoe, Mariana, if you want to say something else. And I think that's it for me.
No, I just want to say thank you to everyone for joining us and for sharing all of your perspective and stories.
Yes.
Yes, me too. Just really nice to meet you all, and very beautiful story and experiences, and the conversation made by us is really great. Thank you all.
Just thank you
Yes.
too, and thank you everybody to be here, and for ITAC group, Pablo, and everyone. Have a good weekend. And just a reminder that ITAC has a platform, a portal, members portal platform. So I put the link there in the chat in case you don't be there. It's a very simple registration, and you will receive all informations, opportunities, newsletters, invitations, and everything about ITAC and their network there in this portal. So we invite you to be there too and to share this. So thank you.
It's free.
It's free.
It's free.
A free membership to a whole new community.
And a perfect time of the year to have this meeting, right? You know, I don't know if you kind of connected the dots, but if you did, hooray. And if you didn't, hooray. Did Marielle, I danced years ago at Teatro Municipal de Rio de Janeiro. There was a ballet company there. My first husband was a French chef, and we ended up in Rio, and he was at Hotel Medellin, and I got to join the company in Rio de Janeiro, and it was quite an experience, that's for sure. Quite an experience. I think I made more of an impact on them, being the only American, And what I took away was great friendships in the company that I met back in, and then I was back in Europe, but was the food and the smells and the markets and the sound of the waves and the traffic. And I lived in Leme, which is right near the beach, and the Mojo was right behind me. And my apartment saw the beach and the hill, and the contrast that was like the Maria Pratas that I loved, both the Blanca and the I can't forget. Don't remember how you say black. How do you say black? There was white and black.
Blanco y negro.
It was just, there was just always that ebb and flow about the country that I think is placed itself somewhere in my heart and always makes me kind of go, yeah, I'm really cool where I'm at, but what's over there? Because I always saw the waves and I heard the waves. And that was, I don't live near water now, except for a river that floods every once in a while. So I don't have a real good relationship with my river, but that's okay. I think living near that wave just, I don't know, it does something. It kind of like embeds itself and you never quite leave. So, yeah. Cool.
Thank you so much, Tina, for sharing that. Thank you, Susan. Thank you, everyone, for joining us today.
Thank you.
And for spending a little bit more of time to have this conversation. I'm leaving so inspired. Actually, well, I'm not a teaching artist. I work for ITAC. I'm not a teaching artist, but I have feel so inspired by this group that I'm starting my first workshop officially as a teaching artist in a couple of weeks. I will deliver a workshop in music improvisation. So yeah, I mean, it all happened because I met all of you. So so happy. Thank you so much. Have a lovely rest of your day. And oh, we have a couple of sessions in December. Also, think tanks are happening December 11th. In our website, in our portal, you will see all the information there. So thank you so much. See you
Thank you, everyone.
next
Thank
time.
you all very much. Bye bye.
Thank you. See you all.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.